How
Right.
long does this process typically take? Like, let's say that we try to resolve things amicably, and for whatever reason, it doesn't happen. From the time the letter goes out, would the next step be to wait like 2 weeks for them to give us a response,
Yeah.
then file partition action?
Right. You'd give them
Or
a response time and a reasonable one, right? 30 days, 60 days, depending upon, again, timing issues, things like that, right? Give them time to consider it, respond, make an offer, those kinds of things, and try to amicably work it through. If not, then we file a lawsuit. The legal process does not work quickly. It is not. This is not the fast way out of anything ever, right? So once we file a lawsuit, the other side has to have time to respond, right? And they can respond in different ways. They can object, right? They can answer, they can cross sue, right? All kinds of different things can happen. Once you sue someone, they're going to respond, and, fight or flight, right? You don't know what you may get on the other end of that, right? And then we go through a process that's called discovery, right? So in the legal system, we do not believe in surprises. Like if you watch, Perry Mason, they'll surprise the witness with something. Our legal system doesn't work like that. We are entitled to know each other's full story, right? All of their evidence, all of their information, all the contracts, all the documents, nothing is a surprise. Everybody is entitled to know and see what's going on. That process takes months, right? Of collecting documents, doing depositions, right? Where the people are literally, a court reporter comes in and the attorney for the other side asks you questions and gets information, right? That whole process takes months. And again, right now, our judicial system, especially with COVID, is super backed up. So you're looking at least 2 years before you're going to see a trial date on something like this, right? So if you really need out, this is not going to get you out in a timely manner, right? It's a really slow process, right? We're getting court dates 2 years out right now.
Wow. Is there any way to speed this process up? Like if the property was in foreclosure, is that like a way that maybe like the judge might say we're going to lose the property if we don't do something, or is it just 2 years out still?
No, our judicial system has a, kind of the normal plan. And then when an emergency is going on, there's a process to deal with that. So if there was something like a foreclosure or some sort of, if someone was being hurt, right, damage to the property, right, things like that, where there's an imminent danger, there's a process called an ex parte, right? We attorneys use Latin to make us sound smart. And so an ex parte is an audience with the judge, right? And so you can file a motion, and in normal times, you would literally go, if I'm going to file an ex parte, I will notify the other side today, and I'll be in court tomorrow. So I can get a court date as quickly, again, in normal times, as the next day, right? And I can go in front of the judge and say, look, this property is in danger of being destroyed. We need to act now. And the court will have authority to act if they really believe in the urgency and the issue, right? It won't resolve the whole case, right? It will deal with whatever issue we are dealing with, right? So if it's a foreclosure, the court might stay the foreclosure, right? And tell the lender, we're trying to figure out what to do. You're going to wait, right? They may stay that foreclosure, or they may order a sale and, and say, look, we got to sell this. This foreclosure is reasonable, right? Things like that. So again, it's going to depend on what is actually happening, and then getting in front of a judge, explaining that, and getting them to see the urgency. What'll happen is, assuming the judge sees the issue, they will issue an order. But again, it will be specific to the issue at hand. It won't resolve the whole case. So maybe we need to get the property sold because of, a foreclosure or, some danger, right? They'll sell the property, but they won't disperse the money. There'll be a whole separate piece to determine who gets what of the proceeds from the property. So our legal system can often, and does often, go in phases when there's things like that. The other option is, the reality is, most cases never go to trial. Less than 1% of cases that are filed actually sit in front of a judge and go to trial. Throughout the process, right, with filing documents, doing discovery, there's almost always a mediation, a mandatory settlement conference, and or an arbitration, right? Some sort of alternative dispute resolution is put into the mix to try and resolve the issue. Right.
Is that 1% for like all cases, or is that 1% for partition action specific?
Oh no, for civil cases, the 99.9% of cases never go to trial.
That's awesome. That's good.
It's very expensive and very time consuming. So most people settle. That's the reality of our legal system.